Welcome into episode 6 of the Inner Circle podcast. Zach Klein, Todd France, Matt Ryan, Aaron Donald. Hold up. I don't like that. I don't like that theme music this week, guys. We're going to go with something different. I think is this better? Is this better theme music?
Oh, man. I didn't get a FedEx. I didn't get anything in the FedEx. I didn't get a UPS delivery to the house.
Now listen, that ass
I'm
whooping we
assuming
gave
that's
you,
coming next week.
That ass whooping good enough, man. I'm gonna let you live this one. I'm gonna let you get away with this one. That was a bloodbath, man.
Wait, Aaron, you're not sending it to him. Wow, you're letting him off the hook.
What was the final score? 48-7 or something like that?
48-7, I think. Yeah.
I can't do that, Todd. I'm being a bully if I do that. I gotta let him live, man.
What a nice guy.
I'm gonna let him live.
I would pay up my bet though. I always pay my bets. So,
I know you will, but I'm gonna let you live this one.
Whatever you need. Thank you.
I have a question, Matt. So is the helmet Zach? Is there a video is this the helmet you would have given AD had you lost the bet?
But right here,
boom! Let me catch it.
I don't know how you're sitting here today having this podcast after that blow.
That was a big hit. Times have changed because that wasn't even a penalty at the time.
Yeah,
I think you're ejected for targeting at this point.
For sure.
Leading with the crown of the helmet. It wasn't even a penalty. We didn't even get a 15-yarder on that.
How did that feel after that? God damn, I look like that hurt.
AD, I was laying on the ground, and Todd and Zach, that involuntary noise you make when you get hit, and it's like,
yeah.
Todd and I do not know that feeling.
I was trying to catch my breath. I could not catch my breath on that. I thought I was dying, man.
We got to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Mac McCall, actually is the one who sent the video.
Is that right?
Yeah, and asked us to show the video and get your reaction. So Mac McCall, thank you very much for sending that in.
Yeah, Mac,
anyone else
thanks
send
for the
their
reminder,
stuff in?
man.
We'll use
thanks for the reminder.
This. Yeah, it was awesome.
Good times, huh? Good times.
Yeah, good times. It's fun. Football's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
You were a lot safer in the CBS studios this past week. Good to be back in there with the boys, Matt.
Yeah, good to be back in the normal routine. Fun weekend. Crazy weekend of football, though. I mean, the blowout started on Saturday with Pitt getting after BC, but we had a bunch of those in the NFL, and then we had some crazy comebacks. So it was a fun day in the studio watching it. How about you boys? How was the weekend?
It was good. It was good. Could have been better. My son lost his first game this year. They 5-1. I feel like I was more mad than the players was, though. I'm grumpy as hell, all pouting and shit, but it's cool. On to the next week, right? So
that's right. All of the unbeatens going down this weekend.
Golly, man.
Did you show your displeasure, AD? Because I can somehow see TMZ in LA. Your 9-year-old son loses a football game and he's wanting ice cream, and TMZ gets a camera video. You just losing your mind or something like that.
I'm gonna say you this, and don't judge me for doing this. I'm the defensive coordinator for the team, right? So we lost. And
what was the score? All right, give me the score then. If you're the DC, what was it? Was this a defensive issue or an offensive issue?
It was 20-12. We couldn't score on offense. We actually scored on defense, and they was kind of cheating. We ain't gonna talk about that though. But they got in line, and they're like, I'm like, I ain't touching nobody's hand. I sat down on the bench. I ain't even get no fast.
You didn't even shake hands after the game.
Hey, I'm a sore loser. Man. I'm a sore loser. So I apologize.
What was your team breakdown? Usually we get all of the coaches after our games in flag football. We each give a nugget or something like that. Did you say anything to the team afterwards?
Who, our team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just told them we got our ass whooped. I felt like they wasn't physical enough. I'm bland. I'm straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get the job done. So
how do the other parents react, AD? How do the other parents react? Do they not say anything? I mean, I wouldn't if you were my kid's coach.
No, they ain't say nothing. They understand. We trying to get to SoFi. We get to the championship. We get to play in SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
So we shooting for something, man. So I got to make sure my kids is ready to go, man. So
we're 5-1. How many regular season games? We play 10?
We got
10
2
and
more.
Then playoffs?
We got
two more.
Yeah,
okay, so
2 more.
Play 8.
This week is our homecoming. We play another undefeated team this week. That's a good team. So another good challenge for us. So we're going to see.
Why do I feel there's so much dysfunction, chaos with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Because it is. I think it is. I just think there's a lot of I'm an outsider looking in. I think there's a lot of things going on. I think a lot of guys don't seem like they happy. They seem like there's too much pouting going on, too much tension going on. And in my opinion, to get to where you're trying to get to be the team you want to be, I think that can be a problem, right, inside the locker room. Only from experience, I know you can test to that too, Matt, as far as the pout on the attitude. It don't seem like it's like this right now, in my opinion. What's your thoughts? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, I think Listen, I think in a lot of ways they're a victim of their own success, right? They've had so much success there in the last 2 or 3 years, winning a Super Bowl last year, right? There's an expectation that it's going to look, perfect every week. And that's the standard they set for themselves. So I think from the outside, right, there's this expectation that you should be performing every week, at a championship caliber. And, frankly, they have. I mean, they're 4-1, right? It's hard to win in the NFL, and they've found a way to do it. But I agree with the idea. I remember we had a coach in the NFL, Dave Ragone. He's with the Rams now. He coaches with the Rams now. And Rags got up in front of us. I was in my 14th year. I'd never heard it put this way, but he said a coach when he was younger got in front of the team and said, all right, everybody in the room, put your hand up if you'd sign up to be 13-3 and have a chance to go win a Super Bowl at the end of the year. Everybody puts their hand up. And then he said, okay, let me go around the room. Matt, put your hand up if you want to be 13-3, but that means we're going to run the ball 45 times and your stat line is going to be 9 of 12 every game for no touchdowns, one interception, whatever, but that's what it takes for us to win. And then he went around the room and did everybody. And the exercise really was, everybody wants to win when it's on their terms, right? And they're getting theirs. But sometimes it's about giving up your own individual success for the better part of the team in order to win big. And I think there's a bit of that going on right now, right? Like the way that they're built, playing defense the way that they do, the injuries that they have on the offensive line. I feel like there's a conscious effort from the staff on down to play this conservative brand of football to try and manage the game and give themselves an opportunity to win at the end of the game. But that's frustrating to players, right? Because, as much as you want to win, you also want to be a part of that win, right?
You want the production to be a part of it. Yep.
Yeah, you want your production to be a part of it. And so, I think they're going through a lot of that right now. I think it's an important time in Jalen Hurts' career, right? Like to learn how to manage players around you, learn how to manage their expectations. Like you want wide receivers who want the ball. There's no doubt about that, right? Every good wide receiver I've ever been around has bitched at some point, but you've got to find a way to manage that, right? And you've got to find a way to connect with them and make them feel a part of it and to understand, where we want to go as a football team. Because in my opinion, they need A.J. Brown. They need Devontae Smith. They need Jalen Hurts to play well if they want to go where they want to go. But they need other guys to get healthy. They need that offensive line to be playing a little bit better. And the guy we haven't heard from at all is Saquon Barkley, and his production, his production's been down. I think he had 6 touches or 6 carries in the game on Sunday. So they got a lot going on, but they're good problems to figure out when you're 4-1. I think getting back after it Thursday night, they got quick turnaround going on the Thursday night game against the Giants. How they respond, in my opinion, is going to be really important.
Yeah, I think, and they got to establish that run game. They got to get the run game going because that's what they're going to run through that. They got to get it, feed Barkley, keep feeding him the ball. They got to find a way to get that guy more involved. So
part of me thinks AD and guys and I have listen, this is no sources, no rumors, no anything. Part of me thinks they're kind of saving Saquon a little bit, right? Like keeping the tread off of his tires early in the season, to make sure that he's healthy and fresh for when they get to November, December, right? And as long as they're winning games along the way and positioning themselves to be successful, I think there might be this conscious effort to make sure that he's healthy, right? Because as important as Jalen and AJ and Devontae are, at the end of the day, the reason they won the championship they won last year is because of those 100%. Other guys, but primarily because of Saquon. At least on the offensive side of the ball.
You mentioned AJ. I would love your perspective on this, Matt. This was a play that a lot of people were discussing, this AJ Brown route. I want you to break it down from your perspective. And do you think AJ quit on it? It's a double move, but it looks like he stops. So on YouTube, you're checking him out. There's a move inside, then he slows down and the ball sails him. So from the outside, for someone who never played the game, it looks like if he keeps going full steam, that pass hits him right in the hands. It's a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it does look like, right? It looks like you come out, you're running this kind of in cut, that's double move and pump, and he kind of had to slide inside instead of initially going outside. You see this little inside move right there. You'd like to take it on the outside, and it's usually cleaner and it times up better when you do that. My thing on this, though, is, I don't know. We don't sit in the meeting rooms, right? We're not in the meeting rooms during the week. A lot of times on these double moves, it's like, hey, we get this one coverage. This is the alert on top of it. So I don't know what was being said in there, but I mean, this is part of it, right? This is how you get out of these slumps. It takes one play like that, right? And give him max effort. You don't know when it's going to happen during the course of the game. So I agree with you. I think it looks bad. And that would be something, I think as a quarterback, you're going back in on Monday. Like I like to do that individually, not out in front of the rest of the team. That's one where you might pull, AJ Brown in and say, hey, listen, man, I know it's been hard. I know we have not been getting you the ball the way we need to, But when we get our opportunities like this, right?
I
at least need you putting your foot on the gas, and I'm going to try and give it a shot right there.
So here is AJ after the game when was asked about that play, and I thought it was a good follow-up from the reporter asking him if he slowed down. So take a listen to AJ's response on that play that could have been a touchdown that looked like he came up short.
From my point of view, we just missed.
It looked like you slowed up on the play. Did you not think the ball was coming your way, or what happened with that?
It's not that I didn't think the ball was coming. When I looked up, I didn't see the ball. And I looked back, I didn't see the ball. And then the ball was thrown. So, like I said, we just missed.
So he said it was missed. He said he did not communicate with your quarterback. And Matt, moments ago, you said that would have been the first thing you did, at least on a Monday. But if that happens in the middle of a game, are you going to your wide receiver and say, listen, I thought we had that open here. I saw something, work with me here?
Yeah, probably. At least from my perspective, I think that's, hey, what happened? And listen, Zach, I was always, like with my guys, I always felt like during the week I was harder on them than during the game, right? Because like AD, I think you can speak to this. Like it's hard, on Sunday afternoons going out there. There's a lot of moving parts, right? And 100%. I always felt like you got to champion your teammates on Sundays, right? And you got to be in it together, and you got to pump them up. But for sure, in a situation like that, I'd be looking for feedback. Like, hey, what did I miss? Did it come out too late? What happened? Just give me an idea of what happened, because if it comes up again, that's the key, is making sure that if it comes up again, we're on the same page. It's not to go back and nitpick, what happened prior to it. We didn't make the play, right? And so going back and trying to find out on the sideline, hey, if that comes up again, here's what I'm expecting. Even if you don't see it right away, dig through it. I'm going to put that ball out there deep, just run underneath it. I think that's what I would have done in that situation. I'll say this on his response, though. I think in his head, he was trying to diffuse the situation, given all of that they have, been dealing with the last 3 or 4 weeks, right? And we talked about the cryptic tweet the week before. We've talked about the media, shitstorm that's been there in Philadelphia that they're dealing with. I think in his head, he's saying, listen, I got to get on the same page with Jalen, but right now is not the time nor the place to answer this question. And I actually give him credit for trying to diffuse the situation and handle it in-house. I think that's always a good thing.
Speaking of the Eagles, Todd, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he was recently cut from Houston. You played for the Eagles. Do you kind of work that back? You check in with Howie? What's it like as an agent trying to get him back in the fold?
I mean, first of all, you want to know what happened in Houston before you do anything. Like what went wrong from the player's perspective. Obviously you already know that, but from the team side, what happened? Then also you got to look back and you sit here and obviously everyone's like, oh, bring him back to Philly. Well, why did Philly deal with him, and move him to begin with, right? There had to be some sort of reason. So let's look back at that. So you understand what happened in Philly. You understand what happened in Houston. Sure, you're proactive and you're reaching out to teams, but also you have to understand, like teams, if they want you, they're going to be calling too. So if Howie and them want him, the second that happened, they'd be reaching out and letting you know as well. It doesn't mean you're not proactive and reaching out to teams. You absolutely are. And one of the biggest things you're doing as an agent when you are calling teams after guys getting cut in this type of a situation is you're making sure they understand why it happened too, because they don't necessarily want to inherit a problem if there was a problem or any of that type of stuff. So making sure you can sort of put that whatever issue is away. Now, don't get me wrong. Teams talk to teams too. They all have friends with each other. They scouted together. They were on this team together. So they're communicating too, but you'd like to get your side out there also. So you'd be very proactive with that for sure.
CJ side, how do you handle players getting cut in the regular season during the middle course of, a long year?
I mean, it's tough, obviously. I mean, it's a very tough situation, and it's tough for the guys that are getting cut and elevated on practice squads and then, claimed to another team and then they're whacked a couple weeks later. I mean, it's a tough life to do and to stay positive and to stay motivated. And the average person doesn't realize that because they're focused on, the upper echelon player or the starter and the big money guys. I don't know if the average NFL career, like I used to see, it was like 3.2 years in the league, but it's very difficult. I mean, you're moving to a whole new city if you have a family, and then you're like renting an apartment or you're living in a hotel, learning a new playbook, hoping you get an opportunity. So it's a lot. So you just got to be there for your guy and keep their head on, because if that opportunity does come calling and you're not ready, that would be even more frustrating than anything else.
Yeah, I think too, Todd, like I don't think enough people realize the amount of transactions that go on in that bottom, I don't want to say the bottom third of the roster, but roster spots, 40 to whatever it is, 68, 69 with the practice squad, right? The turnover in that bottom third of the roster, it's almost like every other week, right? You've got new guys coming in and
all the time.
Oftentimes AD be like, who's he?
100%, bro.
Listen, out at practice and trying to introduce yourself. So, I mean, it's. I've always had so much respect for those guys of how they handle that.
That's roster management from the front office, right? And the coaching staff, because they're looking at injuries and they're looking at the depth and what they have and what they need to backfill sort of in the practice squad group to make sure that, they're getting thin at linebacker. They got to add some more linebackers because they elevated a guy. And then they're trying to figure out the medical aspect of it, right? How long is this guy going to be out? And they're getting the MRIs back and trying to figure all that out and talk to all the different doctors, and the agents are wanting second medical opinions. So it's a revolving door, and it's, to your point, it's constant transactions and moving parts. So definitely something that the teams have to do a great job with.
For sure. I seen guys come in that was new and be there for 2 weeks, and then I'm like, where's so-and-so at? They be like, yeah, they cut them. I'm like, it's a cutthroat business, man. It really is, man. They here for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then gone the next week. It's like, golly, you just brought this guy and you think he's going to be good. You're like, oh, you see him at practice a little bit doing decent, and then the next week he's gone. I'll be like, golly, man, it's a revolving door all the time, man. It's just a cutthroat business, man. So it's just the nature of football. Not at all.
We taped this on Tuesday afternoons, and the NFL released a transaction wire from the day before, from Monday before. And there's nearly 50 transactions on there. To your point, Matt, nobody has a clue. You're focused on the big names. Those are on your fantasy football team, your favorite fans, starting quarterback, defensive tackle, but more than 50 lives were impacted yesterday. It's crazy that nobody talks about that.
100%. Yeah, and oftentimes as a player too, right? Like you leave on Monday afternoon or whatever after you're done, and these transactions usually happen after the day is done, right? And so if you're trying to unplug and just get away from it or whatever, and you don't even know this has happened until Wednesday morning if you come in, or Tuesday afternoon, whatever, your routine is. And like AD said, you'll be out of practice, specifically on guys on the other side of the ball, right? Because you don't see them in meetings, you're separate all morning. And then you get out there and you're going against the scout team and you're like, dude, what happened to Joe?
What happened?
Where is
he? He was just here.
Yeah.
There's one guy who doesn't have to worry about his job. It's Buccaneer quarterback Baker Mayfield. The fourth last-minute win in 5 games for Mayfield, 29 of 33, 379 yards and 2 touchdowns. But my favorite thing about his performance was him talking trash before the game. This was outstanding.
You still suck! You still suck! You still suck!
So a fantastic video of Baker talking trash. I don't want to repeat many of the things he said, but he was having some fun in the tunnel before the game. And then as he was going away, he was waving at the guys.
AD, you played up there a lot.
I was about to say that.
A lot. I know exactly where you're standing, coming out of that tunnel, and there is that guy on the right.
The same guy all the damn time.
I love that Baker was like, "You're new here." He's like, "You're new here. You're old. I know you, but you're new here." I like that part. Like that. I know the exact guy he's talking about. That's talking shit. I do too, because
I had some words for him before, and after the game, we whooped their ass. I look like, "What's all that shit you was saying? Huh? What was that?" He's like, "Okay, my bad, Aaron. My bad." So that's funny because I know Seattle really well, and I know exactly who he's bumping his gums at that time, right there at that entrance about that tunnel, man. So it just brought back some funny memories for me, man. So
AD, I've never been in the tunnel with you, but like pregame, if that guy's chirping at you, what are you going? Are you one of the guys going back at him?
I might say a few words, or I might look at him and smile, and I'll be like, "Watch this." Yeah. And then after I have a big game, I come back over to like, "Hey, what's all that shit you were saying again? I just had 3 sacks." He's like, "My bad, AD. I'm gonna shut my mouth next time." So it's like,
you just follow up with him afterwards.
Yeah, just follow up. I wasn't going over the top with him. I might smile at him, but like, "All right, watch this. It's gonna be one of them days." And every time you make a big play, you look over where he at, and you just point. Hey, motherfucker, what was all that you was saying? You know. So it's little stuff like that.
I used to love when guys would start doing that in the tunnel, like yelling at somebody. For me, it always like broke up the tension, because that's like an awkward time before you're coming out. Some guys are like in their headspace where they're like you, like barking at people, doing stuff like that. But I would start laughing, when you're here, especially if somebody gets creative. Like Baker was pretty good going back at him.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah, it wasn't just like the F you. It was intelligent. I like that from Baker.
And I like playing in environments like that. I always say, I feed off that. I'm like, oh yeah, they hate us. Let's make them hate us even more. We're whooping their ass today. So you feed off that type of energy from the crowd too, man.
It is a great place to play. It's a great place to play.
It is.
Don't cross the line. Have fun with it like that fan was. Have fun with it like Baker was. Remember that interaction after the game And then whether Baker was coming out on top talking trash or that fan was, they were going to connect after the game and have some fun there.
I love that the fan at the end was like, "You still suck." Like, what? That's the best you got?
He's mad. That's all you can
that's
say when
right.
you're mad. You don't got much to say.
You still suck.
Speaking of Baker, Todd, should they get a deal done with him right now?
I'm not going to speak necessarily on Baker directly, but a quarterback in a situation like that,
Yes.
it never benefits the team. I shouldn't say never. It, generally speaking, doesn't benefit any team by waiting to do a player's contract. The dollars aren't going to go down. But there are a lot of things to look at. Number one is a team, whether it's Tampa or whoever, are they a team that does deals during the season? What's the player's mindset? Does he even want to do a deal during the season? Does he feel like that's a distraction? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a lot of back and forth, and does that frustrate a guy? And then you got to also, as a team and as an agent, you're looking at how many years does he have left on his deal? How much guaranteed money is left on this deal? How old is the player at this time? What does the quarterback market look like? Is there a chance that the team can do a new deal and actually save money on the cap, which allows them more flexibility come March to spend more money to surround him, whether it be offense or defense? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to these types of things. But again, all of those things are things to consider both on the team side and the player side. Obviously, there's the injury risk for the player in terms of getting it now. But if I'm someone who has a player that's been a high first-round pick and made a lot of money, has gotten a veteran deal or two and significant money, I feel like you can take that risk, so to speak, because it's not like you're a later round pick and never have had it. And oh my God, the team's dangling this money. I just got to take it no matter what, which a lot of teams try to do because they understand the human element. So again, I never benefit a team for waiting, in my opinion, but a lot of things go into it for sure.
I think the pushback though of like waiting and trying to get the number bigger, at least from my perspective, is like, as a veteran player, I'd be saying this right to Todd. I'd be like, listen, man, I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know the situation I'm in. I know the coaching staff I'm with. I know the players I'm with, right? Like, so just get
and
it
I would
done.
be telling you, hey, that conversation is definitely between me and you. Okay. No, but look, I'm not saying it's him, but the player has multiple years left on his contract. He's not going anywhere anyway. So the team understands that. But when you're a team and you're a good team, you would think you still want to reward your guys, right? You want to take care of the guys that are doing a good job. Send the message in the locker room to the other players like, hey, do the right things, come to work on time, focus, play your butt off, and we're going to reward you. And so I think there's a benefit to the team as well. I mean, it's not just if all teams went down the path of, we know this guy doesn't want to leave, we can tag him, he's going to be cheaper because he's a safety or a tight end and those numbers are low, we're just going to pay him the cheapest, as opposed to making the guy the highest paid tight end in the history of the NFL, which isn't a better deal for the team, but is the right deal for a player. Teams still do the right things on those types of things because it's a star player. And again, they're trying to send the message and do the right thing.
Yeah, I think good organization, you pay what you're emphasizing, right? What you emphasize, what you want from the players, kind of competitors that they are, the way that they work, the way that they perform, like the leadership, all of those things. You gotta pay what you're emphasizing, right? What your culture is built on. And to me, I mean, I think he's the perfect culture for that locker room, right? And for Todd Bowles as a defensive, physical head coach, I think Baker fits that so well. What's your thoughts, AD?
He's playing lights out. I wanted to see Todd. You, his agent, Baker Mayfield's agent, what you doing when it pertains to that contract situation? Would you tell it? I kind of figured, I kind of know what you were going to do, but I want to hear your thoughts. Say it on the podcast. How about that?
I don't want to speak on his part, but just hypothetically speaking,
if
I had a guy in that boat, I would. I mean, I'm saying my guy's drastically underpaid. I'm looking at the rest of the market and comparing what he is. I'm also taking into account what the surrounding pieces are and what the team's cap situation is. If it's me, I'm sitting here saying, I've given the team a pretty good discount and they've gotten pretty good value out of me for X amount of time and I produced at a high level. So, I mean, I think my history personally for me shows that I'm not looking to take discounts. I'm shopping at the most expensive stores, but I think my players warrant it. And you might think I drink the Kool-Aid of my players, and maybe so, but that's what I truly believe, and that's what I would fight for the guy to, become whoever it is, whether it's a quarterback, a receiver, special teams guy, a guy who can back it up and has the resume for it. Why shouldn't he become the next guy up, whether the highest paid type of guy? Why should he not get what he deserves?
Well, his production has been top 10.
Yes.
And he's getting paid half of what the top 10 guys are making. So, I think even if it doesn't become number one, right, getting into that same level, wherever that level is and whatever's, works for him, I think it's absolutely fair.
Got to be in that top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
So you have a
as
guy,
long as he keep playing how he's playing, they keep winning games. It's going to come.
And that's the key, right? Like he's been doing it now. This isn't 5 games into it. This is exactly what he's been doing all 3 years that he's been there.
Yeah, coming off a year where he threw 41 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. So he was balling last year. He's balling this year. And it's helped that he has one of the top young receivers in the game, in Emeka Egbuka. 25 catches, 445 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns through 5 games of his NFL career. First player in NFL history with at least 25 catches, 400 yards, and 5 TDs in his first career 5 games. So how does a start like that, Todd, impact a rookie?
The impact of a rookie, there's no bonuses in his contract. You know, he's got a 4-year fully guaranteed contract, and then the club has the 5th year to exercise a 5th year option. And people always wonder what that's about or whatever. And there's actually a lot of things that go into it. So his performance does matter because after the first 3 years, I think it's May 3rd, after the 3rd year, the team has to then decide to exercise or not exercise his 5th year option. So his performance in those first 3 years are critical to determining what his 5th year is going to be worth. And there's levels. So for example, if you go to 2 Pro Bowls, by the way, these are original ballot Pro Bowls, not like as a guy backs out and backs out. If you're original ballot 2 out of the first 3 years, your 5th year number is equivalent to the franchise tag. Obviously, the more likely then what? You're going to get an extension early because that's a 1-year huge number. So if you go to the next level, which is, again, all these numbers are based on these criteria, but they're also a percent of the salary cap. But the second one is if you go to 1 Pro Bowl out of 3 years, then it's equivalent to the transition tag. Not a tag you always hear about as much as you hear the franchise tag. Not going to get too deep into it right now, but it's basically the average of the top 10 players at your position. So again, another big number. Then the next level is, did you play 75% of the play time 2 of your first 3 years? Or did you play 50% in each of your first 3 years? Or did you play a cumulative 75% over the first 3 years? And that number is, I think, the average salary between the 3rd highest paid at your position and the 20th highest paid player at your position. And then number 4 is none of the above. And again, you might think, well, hey, they would never exercise a guy if he didn't hit one of those types of things. Yes, usually you're correct. But like Jordan Love, for example, a backup quarterback, they did, that's a different unique circumstance, right? But I will tell you that the 4th one is if you hit none of those, it's the equivalent of, I think, the 3rd pick, the 3rd highest paid at your position to the 25th highest paid at your position. So again, it goes a little bit lower. So does it impact his performance, his rookie year and second year? Does that impact his contract? Not directly with bonuses, but 1,000% what your 5th year is going to be. And obviously, the higher that 5th year is going to be, the more likely you are potentially to get an extension early and all that. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts with it.
I feel like the roundabout way of saying that is, yes, your performance matters, but the money ain't changing for 4 years.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
But if you keep playing like you playing, that's going to come. You're going to get it on the back end, so don't worry. Just keep playing ball, keep winning games. It's going to come.
And it doesn't mean the team couldn't do a deal after 3 years either, right?
Right. Yeah, you can extend earlier. Listen, it comes back to all the more reason if you're Baker Mayfield, you want to stay, right? Mm-hmm. Because you've got this young, emerging talent in Egbuka.
Yes.
You've got Mike Evans, who's out right now with a hamstring. You got Chris Godwin, who's coming back. You've got all of these pieces, the 2 running backs. Like, if I'm Baker,
no state
Todd's
tax.
getting pissed at me, but I'm saying, just get it done. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be crazy. Let's keep everybody in the building.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everybody's eating.
Because you want to win still. You don't want to
100%,
be
especially
greedy.
at that point in his
win.
career.
Let's find a way to make the contract, the structure, so everybody can still come back and everybody be happy.
And you do realize you take discounts, it affects the next quarterback up too, right? Because the next team is saying, well, this guy performed at this level, but he only made
I'm not
X.
saying discount. I'm just saying it doesn't have to.
Good.
It doesn't have to be 5%, a 5% raise on whatever.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the specifics, but
yeah.
And the team will use the no state tax also benefit to him and all that type of stuff, which is true value and stuff. But yeah, no, you want him to be compensated fairly for sure.
Yeah,
fair is in the beauty. That's in the eye of the beholder. Like I think what I think is fair and you think is fair could be 2 different things.
While Baker and the Bucs are balling, man.
Hey, what about? Can we just before you move on, Zach? Let's give Sam Darnold a shout out too. All right, because watching that ball game, he played a hell of a game. I know he had the interception at the end of it, but Sam just basically signed the Baker Mayfield deal that he did 3 years ago, right? And he did that with Seattle. And the early, feedback and the early kind of signs are that it's going to be very much the same as what Baker did, finding the right situation for him, going out there and playing. And, I thought that was the game of the week. It might be the game of the year, watching it, the back and forth in that ball game. It was awesome. So shout out to Sam too.
Shout out to them. I like a defense though, man. I don't think it was a lot of good defense going on this week. I was like, God, where the defense at, man? That's just making me mad. But God, good shit to the quarterbacks, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
Pains you to do that.
It pains me to bring this up.
Okay.
Because for the second time in as many weeks, we had a player drop the ball right before he went in the end zone. A week ago, gents, it was A.D. Mitchell. Now it's Arizona's Emari Demercado. It would have been a 72-yard touchdown. It would have put the Arizona Cardinals up 27-6 with about 12 minutes to go. How demoralizing is this if he was your teammate? And what do you say to him?
I mean, AD, you start on this one.
So, Ali, I will say this. That was the game changer. That changed the whole momentum of the game when the Titans got the ball back after that. I think they kind of took it over from there. Only thing you can say to it, guys, like, you kind of keep them in the game. Like, you owe us. You got to make that play up. Stay inside the game. We still got a lot of football left. Stay in tune. But, like, golly, I think before every week, I don't know how y'all did it, Matt. You have your team meetings. You break down the good plays and the bad plays of the NFL of the week, right? You got plays like probably the Colts with the same type of concept that happened
from other teams around the league.
And you watch
around
that
the league.
And everybody like, oh, he's dumb as hell, ha, laughing at it. And then you become the guy to follow the next week to do the same thing. It's like it's like the little things, man. It's like just run through all the way through and then celebrate, right? Well, it's like that beautiful run. You fumbled that ball in the back of the end zone, and it changed the whole momentum of the game. After that, the Titans took over. I think on defense, the D-line started rushing, getting after, Murray, making them uncomfortable, making them make bad decisions, and they just took over the game from there. I think it changed momentum of the game, but the only thing you can try to say to your guy is stay in tune, keep playing. You got to make that play up for us. That was some bullshit, but we're going to make it up, so stay in tune. But I don't know, man. That's crazy.
If you see your coach, like you come off the sideline, you see coach obviously going ballistic on him.
Yeah. I think I think he apologized for it yesterday.
He did.
In his Monday conference.
What do you do? I mean, you still have game left. You need this guy. Like, are you saying anything to him individually after coach, shreds him?
Yeah, I think that's where you got to show some love, right? Like, I think it's like parenting, Todd, right? When Sarah's at home getting on the boys, and you see it, then you got to be like, hey man, hey, it's all right. Like, we got to pull it back together here, okay? You can't be bad cop. And so I think in these situations, you like AD is saying, you got to get them back into a space where you can still compete in that game. They were still up, right? And then that game was wild, right? Tennessee needed so many different things. They had that crazy interception that was fumbled, that's returned for the touchdown, right?
Football
like ridiculous plays.
Yeah, football guys was on their side. They was on their side for sure.
I think the thing that's hard, especially with this particular play, right? And I'm not trying to single out Emari Demercado for this, but like AD said it, everybody watches around the league tapes of mistakes that are made, and hey, let's not be the ones that make this mistake. With this current situation of fumbling as you're going over the goal line, like, this has happened enough, right? It's happened enough. They made a movie about it. Chad Powers, the new movie that's out, is about this guy fumbling going in, so it's not like this is first or second or third or fourth, right? Like, this is like, I remember Deshaun Jackson's like the first one I can remember, doing that. But then even in Atlanta, I saw Kyle Pitts do it. I've seen Jonathan Taylor do it, right? Like in Indy, just a lot of guys. Like, it's amazing to me that it still happens because it's being coached. And I am sure the reason Jonathan Gannon was so pissed is because I guarantee you A.D. Mitchell was on that tape that they put on, whether it's on Friday or Saturday or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm sure Jonathan Gannon said, hey, you can't do this. I don't care how free you're running in there. This is not happening. Now, I will say this, Jonathan, you can't do that. You can't do that as a coach, getting physical with players. You cannot do that.
We don't know the relationship neither, right? We don't know what was said. It looked worse, but I don't know what was actually being said. We don't know how their relationship is. It do seem over the top from what we're watching, but I always like to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I'm like, I don't know how close their relationship is. I don't know how they talk. I don't know what was being said. I know it's a little animated and a lot of shit going on, but so I'm gonna just try to clean them up by saying that I don't know the whole situation, the relationship, and all that either.
100%. We don't have to judge too hard, but there is.
It looked out of pocket for sure, though.
Yeah, there is a level of understanding that I think you have to have as either a quarterback or a head coach, right? That there's a different standard, that you're held to than some other spots, right? Yeah. And you've got to be aware of that. And I'm sure JG will learn from that.
And he did apologize in the Monday team meeting. In the video that you guys saw, his left tackle, Paris Johnson Jr., was there with his arm around
Holding him.
Emari, holding him up, trying to build him up in the sidelines. So you feel for that young man and what he's going through. Todd, you ever see anybody cut middle of the week after a bad play?
You know, obviously it happens, but it's not near as common as more a guy getting actually benched. And it also depends on who made the mistake, right? I mean, what is their contract status? I mean, if it's a guy on a minimum, it's a 1 year, a lot easier to move on from a guy like that than it is a marquee player, that type of stuff. But you also have to look at what's the impact on the salary cap if I get rid of this guy? What's the depth at that position? You cannot make an emotional decision because of your being angry and frustrated. You got to let it calm down, then revisit it and look at it. If it's a reoccurring thing, if it's something that you've been saying to him over and over and over and he's just not getting it, like all the situations are different, but not an ideal situation. Again, I think way more common to see a guy benched than you would see a guy cut like that right after that.
I think the key thing to what you're saying too, Todd, is like if this is a first offense, right? Like first time screwing something like this up, very rarely do even a benching, right? Like I think very rarely do you see something like that happen, the first time. It's the repeated mistakes. And we don't know, what's happening at practice, all of those things. But a lot of times, from the outside, it seems like a knee-jerk reaction when you have somebody cut after a glaring play like that. But there's usually a trail of crumbs that lead up to that one play that you saw on the field.
And as an agent, like I've had players that are quiet. I've had guys that are, more vocal. And in general, like you can't coach everybody the same. You got to know as a coach how to get the most out of your player. Yep. And so you could bench a guy and that literally will just tank him, right? Or you could just get on him and it motivates him. Everyone is different. So I think as a coach, and you got to be real careful to your point, whether it's the first time or third time, whether you're benching him or what you're doing from a discipline perspective, because everyone reacts and takes it differently. And if you need this guy down the stretch, you can't do that. And I remember years and years and years and years ago, had a number 2 pick in the draft and he was really, more on the quiet side, and they thought, all right, we're going to put this guy on kick return as a number. That's not something you would do, right? Risk him getting hurt like that. But they thought that would fire him up. It didn't. But like he could run 100 yards and his reaction would be the same as if he fumbled the ball. That just was the mentality of the guy, and you got to understand that as a coach and make sure you're getting the right and the most out of your guy. So. And those are conversations agents have with the front office too, on make sure they're managing and doing the right thing with the guy in their building.
I know we were killing Younghoe Koo for not talking after he missed that first field goal week 1 for the Falcons. Kudos to Emari Demercado, who he did talk afterwards. He owned it. He apologized. He did say he had to be better. So he took it like a man, and they're trying to move on and get better for Arizona. So the Titans guys, they were one of a handful of teams that overcame massive double-digit deficits. I think Adam Schefter put this out on Twitter yesterday. They were down 18 to beat Arizona. The Panthers were down 17 to beat Miami. The Broncos came back from 14 down to beat Philly. The Saints were down 11. And then you had Washington down double digits to come back and beat the LA Chargers. So Matt, I want to start with you. When you're down double digits, what's the key? Is it up tempo? Is it no huddle? I know it's time and place. If you're down double digits in the second quarter, different from double digits in the fourth. But does your attitude philosophy kind of, all right, we got let's go. Let's jump on the gas a little bit here?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, right? It's situation dependent. I look at the Commanders game. You talk about coming back from 10. They were down 10 early, right? And didn't kind of get out of what their normal game plan is. I think it also depends on your team too, right? Like, I think, I think back to teams that I was on, and a lot of times if we trailed or something like that, one of the things we did well was get back into that up-tempo offense. And it wasn't necessarily to throw the ball or anything like that. We just, those early teams I was on in Atlanta from like 2008, 2012, around that time, we did a lot of that. And so jumping in, I think, does a couple of things. Number one, it simplifies what the defense does, right? Wears down a defensive line, which to me is the key to getting back on schedule, right? Slowing guys like AD down, getting them tired. Just keeping them on the field or keeping AD off the field when he's off the field, right? Jumping into that up tempo. I think that's one thing you can do. But I've also been a part of teams, different times in my career where, like, I think back to the Kyle Shanahan teams I was on or Steve Sarkisian, where we ran the football really, really well. And it was like, hey, we don't need to jump into that. Like, let's stick with our plan. Let's keep running the football. We're going to, chip away at this. We're going to get ourselves back into it. But I think it's all situation dependent and team dependent. But, it was wild. I feel like last weekend was blowouts or comebacks, right? The only back and forth game I remember seeing the entire game was that Bucs Seattle game. We had these blowouts or we had these crazy comebacks. You also need some balls to bounce your way. And we look at the Titans. I was on that halftime, they were on CBS and talking about the Titans. And I said, listen, at this point, you're not sure if you're going to win this game. They just need something positive to happen, right? Like building for this team. So like, let's just stack a couple completions or something like that. You never know how the game's going to shake out. And so you just have to keep going at it. And, sometimes it just takes the ball bouncing your way or somebody making a mistake like they did running into the end zone to get you back on track.
So like, just in general for people who listen and that don't necessarily know, when you're on the sideline after you come off and the coaches have, whether it's paper and you're flipping through it or iPads, are those still shots? Are they videos? And how much does that truly help you in the game in itself with making adjustments? And then also communication in your headset, needing an OC or whoever's calling the plays to still stay, calm and all that type of stuff. Or does a sense of urgency change? And how does that all work, in games of where like it's not going well and we need to turn things around?
All right. So it's a 2-part question. The first part, let's talk about, the iPads on the sideline. You're getting still shots, right? And so you get the first shot, which is right before the ball snapped. And then I can't remember the exact timing of the second shot. It's like a second or 1.2 seconds after the ball snapped. So you get this first picture of what it looked like as the ball was being snapped. And then you get this second shot of maybe, 1.2, 1.3 seconds into this play. And it's showing just a still shot of what the coverage might look like or who blitzed on that one. And really, you're just taking a peek to say, okay, is that exactly what I thought it was? Or were they doing something that I wasn't sure? What was that? It's just confirmation. And you start to learn from it throughout the game. Hey, if they line up in this front, these are the 2 things they're showing this game, right? And so I know the next time I come back to it, maybe I'll make an adjustment in protection or check something in the run game or alert or signal something in the pass game to get a different route concept. Part 2 is the communication. And every coordinator is different. But I immediately thought of, when you ask that question, does their tone and temper and like all of that stuff matter? So I remember when I played for Kyle Shanahan, the 2 years he was in Atlanta, he was really good on the headset. I mean, he would fire it off fast. It would come in, right? And he wouldn't say that much. He'd be like, good throw, whatever, on to the next play. But like, I always knew when he was pissed, if I like got sacked on a second down and it ended up being like 3rd and long, he'd come in, he'd be like, fuck it. Run H42 draw. It was like the most disrespectful thing. You're not even going to get a chance to throw it again. Run 40 paint. Fuck it, go. And you'd be sitting in there and you could just see his face doing it. And I would kind of laugh in the huddle or whatever. And then you talk to him on there. And that was kind of his tick or like his thing. And I'm sure Brock Purdy and Mac Jones still catch that once in a while out in San Francisco.
And you can talk back to him too?
No, they can't hear you. So under your breath, you're like, screw you, dude. Yeah, exactly. So you be in the huddle saying stuff and they'd be like, you talking to me? No, man, I'm talking to the OC.
So every part of you want to go, check, even though you were checking out of absolutely nothing, just to throw a pass play, just to piss him off.
When it's like 3rd and 18, you're like, he's probably right.
Screen draw.
Yeah, exactly. I probably should hand this one off, get over to the sideline. Yeah, for sure.
Give us an example. How long of a play? Like is it a quick, like that H14 or whatever you said draw? That was really quick. But is it a long one?
Yeah, gun double right H4 or gun double. I think with them it was like gun double right 40 paint. That was like our draw series. But like a typical play from them, they were long calls. He and AD, they're probably the same. Sean's similar type system.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you what they said. He told me. Exactly. I heard some of them shit. I'm like, y'all got that. Just give me.
I just always remember it'd be like scatter to west right, zoom Z right, 19 Wanda, can, 18 force, alert, whatever alert pass play we had at that time.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
way too much. Crazy. Exactly. Ain't that crazy?
Scatter to west right, zoom Z right, 19 Wanda, can, 18 force, alert, whatever, scat 322 Y stick lion.
That's all one thing?
That's why they get paid the big bucks. All that shit they need to know.
That's right, Todd.
That shit crazy.
I know you don't think so, but I was really, really smart, Todd.
No, I know you were. I know you were smart. I know you're smart. That's unbelievable. I just know I'd be running all over the field in every which way if that was me. I'd be like, no idea where to go.
On the flip side, AD, what would a huddle be like when Leonard Floyd or one of the linebackers called the play in the defensive huddle?
Over, cover 3.
Exactly. That's it. That's what I'm saying. He got that on the offensive side. Just give me what I need to do. And I look to the sidelines, look at the games. If I don't like the games, I'm like this. I tell them what game I want to run, or I call the games out there for my D-line, but that's it. If it's a goal front, you got your jet fronts is basic shit. 1 word, 2 word stuff. I ain't no Z Black 26 pass, check the screen. Ain't none of that. Not at all.
We would always have these code words, right? And it changed in the NFL where I think it was either the guard or center, whoever had a microphone that they have to put on the back. So that's why when you watch the TV copies, you can hear the quarterback's audio like clear as day. And so, all of your code words that you had at the line of scrimmage, right? Teams, I'm sure defenses would go back and watch and you listen to these, code words and like all of this stuff. And so every week we're coming in and like, man, they know our code words. We have to switch it. We have to switch it. We have to switch it. And I remember Roddy White being like, man, don't give them credit on defense. They don't know what they're talking. Like, they don't know what our code words are. Like, fuck them. Let's don't worry about it. And so, yeah, it was defense got it easy, man. Don't give them too much credit. They know their scheme. They know what to do. It's read and react.
In meetings, we watch. You hear the cut ups of what they saying. If you can't hear it, you watch their signals. They might be a check. He might do this. Or whatever the signal is, you trying to pick it up for the DBs, and they call out what the routes is going to be and stuff like that. So they practice all that shit.
They're sharp on that side. I feel like we would always try and do one at the beginning of a drive or something like that, where we knew you guys knew whatever our code
like a dummy
word
call
was.
kind of thing.
And we'd be like, "Hey, come in. It's a dummy. Dummy. Whatever our code word is, use it. Have them all call out the screen, and then you run power right at them."
I got caught with a couple dummy calls before. I'm like, Coach, they said I thought you said when they say
you told me it was going to be a draw when they did that.
Nope, dummy call.
Boom.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, AD, we've been killing the defense all. We call them stupid, calling them dumb.
No, they're good. They're good. They're sharp.
Give me some love for some of your defensive guys of the week. Who are AD's ballers for this past few games?
So I think this week was a lack of defense, man. I wasn't too proud of my defensive guys this week, but I'm gonna give some credit to my guy. Was it Kool-Aid, the corner, number 4 for the Saints? Had 2 big picks, a big pass deflection to close out that game, the last drive with the Giants to for that win for them. I think he played some good football, made some big plays for him. I got to give some love for my guy, Devin Lloyd. Pick 6, Jaguars, 99-yard return for a touchdown. That boy was working. Shout out to him. Another guy I think was getting after the quarterback. Simmons, my 3 tech from the Titans. He had about 7, 8 quarterback pressures, a sack. He should have had another sack. He let Murray get up out of there, but he pressured him to make him throw it away. I think he affected that game in a big way.
He's not only your 3 technique.
He played some good ball though. He was out
man
there working.
to the left in the screen.
I'm just like I'm over here just smiling. I'm like,
guy.
there you go. Yeah,
he played good. I think he was affecting the game, right? I think he was a key piece to that defense for them to get over the hump. But my number 1 guy this week, Denver Broncos. I think that defense picked it up and started playing some good ball. As a defense, they had 6 sacks, about 9 or 10 pass deflections. But Nick Bonito, he got after it. Nick Bonito, 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks, closed out with a sack to back him up late in the fourth quarter, man. So shout out to Nick Bonito. A great week. He leading the NFL in sacks right now, so keep it up, man. Keep going, man. No slowing down, big dog. So let's clap it up for him one more time. Let's go, fellas. Clap it up.
Well done, Nick.
Well done, Nick.
Their defense is good, man.
Yeah,
their defense is good.
Because there was a lot of lack of them. Like, where the defense at this week? And they picked it up and started playing some ball.
Showed up.
They was running some good games, got some good blitzes. I know a couple times I felt like Hurts was holding the ball too long, cover sacks, but that's what they did. They did a good job on the back end. They got after them, did their job, man, and they was eating. So shout out to that defense overall.
AD, when Matt was talking earlier and he was talking about going up tempo and try to get the D-line tired, were there ever times where you were literally really tired, or were you in shape, conditioned enough to where you were fine?
I was in shape. So I was tired as hell, but obviously I could put myself in shape to have that second and that third one and keep out there. But there was times where you got them 15-play drives and, one of my guys are trying, I'm like, no, man, I need you out here with me. Don't like a Von Miller or Leonard Floyd. No, y'all ain't running to the sideline. We're going to finish this game together. Keep y'all ass in there. We're going to work these games. We need to try to close out this game. But it be like that sometimes, man. You got to find a way to, monster through even when you fatigue and when you tired, and they keep them hurry up. Definitely them 2-minute drives. I hated 2-minute drives. Definitely when they completing the ball, keep it going. I'm like, God damn, let's get off the field, man. Shit. Get me off the
hustling
please.
down the field. Did you guys see at the end of the Jalen Hurts, the Hail Mary from the 20-yard line? He threw it, and then he sprinted towards the end zone in case there was a deflection. Like, I've never seen that before. Yeah,
I have never seen that before.
If you're gonna give
freak athlete.
if you're gonna give props of a quarterback sprinting down the field, I think you should look at the tape of Dak Prescott when he handed the ball to his running back who ran down the field. And Dak was like, I saw a tweet that said he clocked like 18 point something running after the ball because of the time. And he wanted to get down there to make sure he gets his guys in position and all that stuff. So don't just, don't leave Dak in the dark on that one.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, Dak playing some good football too right now, man. Shout out to Dak. They playing some good football, man.
Good stuff, AD. Matt, 2-minute drill. Hit us. What's the order
hey,
this week?
The order is going to be AD, Todd, and then Zach. All right, we ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Clock is started. AD, what makes you more excited? A Pitt win on Saturday or a Rams win on Sunday?
Shit. Can I say both?
No.
Rams.
Rams. All right, there we go. Todd, we talked about Emeka Ibuka's rookie deal a little bit earlier. Old CBA, where it was a wild, wild west on rookie contracts, or do you like the new CBA, where it's slated, done, and it gets onto your next contract sometimes a little bit faster?
I like the old one. It was, more
both.
flexibility and the ceiling was rolling. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You and me both. All right, Zach, we're through 5 weeks of the season. A lot of different storylines, a lot of different areas we could go. One player that you'd like to do a sit down with in the NFL after 5 weeks of the season.
I know I was just killing Todd about Dak, but I'd love to go one-on-one with the star of the Cowboys with the star on his helmet, Dak Prescott.
Surely Todd can make that happen, right? Surely.
I know some people. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're in a 2-minute drill. Keep it going.
AD, you gave some shout out to some of the other defensive players of the week. Rams excluded. There's one defense that you could play on in the NFL right now that you could be a part of. Who you choosing?
Shit.
Great question.
Damn. I would say
Burning
Denver.
clock here.
Denver.
All right, Todd, if you could represent players in one other sport outside of football, what sport would you choose to represent?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Those
For sure.
guaranteed contracts, for sure.
For sure, guaranteed contracts. Also, I was it didn't translate, but that was always my dream to play in the NBA.
Gotcha. All right, last one. We got 10 seconds left. All right, I asked about a player, Zach. One coach through 5 weeks of the season that you'd like to sit down with.
Nick Sirianni. I really want to know what's going on behind the scenes in Philly.
Boom.
Let's do it.
Zach was more precise
Well
this
done.
weekend. That's pretty good.
Well done.
Good
well
job,
done,
boys.
boys.
Bring it up this-
Well done.
Good stuff,
job.
gentlemen. Todd, what are you looking forward to this coming weekend?
That's a great question, Zach. Coming into the show, I wasn't sure what I was looking for. At the end of the show, I will tell you what I'm looking forward most to is seeing if AD, as a defensive coordinator, and his team becomes 6-1 going against this undefeated team. I won't necessarily see it, but I will call him and get the skinny and find out how he did. So that's what I'm looking for.
So you got 5-1 AD as a defensive coordinator. You got Matt's flag football team struggling. They're winless.
Don't talk about our record. Keep our record out your mouth, Zach.
What's the record?
Keep our record out your mouth.
I think it should be a little bit of maybe we get Matt as the OC, we got Aaron as the DC, and we have like this super team come together. East Coast,
Let's go.
West Coast.
I'll do their contract. Zach will do the post-game media. It'll be a perfect
Oh,
situation.
We got a super team right here.
Good.
We don't score points. I don't think anybody wants me as their OC.
No, you score some
We're
points.
not scoring points yet.
We might need some personnel changes.
Right.
And that was my bad. I always protect my sources. I think I leaked that they were winless on the air, but we can always edit that out of the conversation. AD, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Some better defensive play, man. I'm looking for some defenses to step up, play some better football, man.
So are we talking the NFL or are we talking your
NFL.
football team? Okay,
NFL. I don't want to talk about my kids like that, man. We locked in, man. We good. But just a better defensive play in the league, man. So
Matt, what you got cooking?
You know what? I think San Francisco Tampa Bay game, 4:25. It's the second part of our doubleheader on CBS. I think that's the game of the week. I think it's going to be really good. Also looking forward to the Sunday night game, Detroit at Kansas City. Kansas City going to be a little hungry after that loss against Jacksonville. Detroit's rolling. So looking forward to those late window games on Sunday. Going to be fun to watch. How about you, Zach?
I'm with you. Lions at Chiefs Sunday Night Football is the one I'm looking to in the league. And then,
how about the Monday nighter for the Falcons?
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see Josh Allen in Atlanta. But before we get to that, heading off to Auburn, Alabama, at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Never been there before. The 130th edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Looking for some college football, fun weekend, a lot of stuff cooking, gentlemen. So we leave with our fight song for one final time for the next 364 days. Congratulations, AD.
Coming for you next year, AD. We're coming.
I didn't want to be like a bully, Todd. I don't want to seem like a bully.
No. That's a bet, AD. We will have a future 2-minute drill with Matt wearing that helmet. I'm just calling you.
That's right. I will do it. I'll do it. I'll live up to it.
Matt, I think AD just wants you to pay the FedEx charge if we're really getting down to it.
Okay, no, I can cover that too. No problem.
Good stuff. Matt Ryan, Aaron Donald, Todd France. Much love, gentlemen. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week, everybody, on the Inner Circle Pod.